$70 doesn't buy you cruelty. And apparently people have been cruel to this poor man. Unfortunately, he didn't realize that cruelty is free. Pinned comment. Welcome. Current like to dislike ratio sitting at 21.7%. Who cares, brother? It doesn't matter. If you're coming here from your favorite streamer, can you at least watch a bit of the video before pushing the thumbs down and leaving a comment? I'd recommend watching the bits the streamer jumped over. If you're here to say your game sucked, cool. Watch the video. I'm not telling you not to do that. If you're here to say I didn't even buy your game, cool. Vote with your wallet. Okay, it's all cool. Just chill. Unless they're like dropping your address. Unless someone's like, I know where you live. It's here. I'm gonna kill you. It doesn't. It's nothing. It's nothing. The little hand going like this or going like this. It doesn't do anything. It's just like it's for the babies to swat at the little mobile above their head. Just a little pacifier. It's a little fidget toy under your video. Anyway. I don't really know who he is. I should probably know who he is. It's Mark Dara on Game. Just dev whining. Yeah, but that's so good. I love when they whine. Dev entitlement. People talk about entitled gamers. Dev entitlement is so good. Well, I don't know what he's going to say. I'm not talking about him because I haven't seen his video yet. But so much dev whining reminds me of when people will review a restaurant on Facebook or something and then they'll like sue them. Like, you have a right to your opinion, but you can't say our food is shit. You can't say we suck as a chef, alright? Oh, is he an Anthem guy? Ooh, let's find out. Let's find out. I love being ignorant. It's so fun. If you're ignorant, every video is like a curtain being pulled back and a bright golden rays of knowledge soak into your breath. We're on YouTube. No, it's not, but you know what I'm saying. What is this link? Project Director. Creative Vision, Project Management, and People Management of the handheld group at Bioware. That's why they'd mention Anthem. Oh, it's going to be about Dragon Age, right? Bioware Edmonton. Okay, my guess was incredibly wrong. It's going to be about Bioware. Previous titles. Sonic Chronicles Dark Brotherhood? That's not real. That's not a real... That's not a real game. Are you serious? What? This is a visual novel? This reminds me of like one of the really old Sonics you could get on computer. Oh, alright. That horrible top-down stuff that I found impossible to play. I couldn't play it as a kid, man. You know a game that filtered me when I was a little kid? I couldn't handle Divine Divinity. Like the way the world looked when you clicked around it f***ed me up. My sense of where things were and like perspective, it f***ed me up real bad. Yeah, I don't know. Just seemed clunky. I got Divine Divinity after Diablo 2, so I guess I wasn't that young. When did Diablo 2 come out? My sense of how old I was when I played certain games is really, really off. Okay, when did Divine Divinity come out? Yeah, I played Divine Divinity when I was 11. So I wasn't total baby mode. And I would have played Diablo 2 when it came out. I was playing Diablo 2 at like 9 years old. Let's go. Let's go. Alright, let's listen to this guy, Mr. Bioware himself. Did I play Sacred? No. I played Sacred 2 on Xbox. What do you think about that? And Sacred 2 had Blind Guardian in it. Right? They had the band Blind Guardian in it. Yes?
Did you read the title? Did it say something like your $70 doesn't buy you cruelty?
Yeah. I can buy hatred for way less than $70. Have I done too many video game name jokes? I feel like I may have done too many video game name jokes.
Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. The fact that you bought a game that you...
This is messing me up. We're talking about... I'm sorry, Mark. I'm sorry to be rude. We're talking about games I played around the time I played Sacred 2. I've mentioned this before. Any of you guys ever played Kingdom Under Fire Circle of Doom? That game I remember being pretty weird.
Didn't like doesn't give you the right to be cruel or...
Now, I want him to explain what he means by cruelty. Sure, if I pay $70 for a game and it sucks and I hate it and I regret buying it, I cannot strap a dev into a rack. Legally, I think I should it's morally right to do that, but legally you can't. But what's he going to call cruelty?
Unkind to the people that developed that game. Now,
Depends. Stalking them? Like putting a mint in my mouth, sucking it a bit so it's sticky and throwing it at them and following them around town? No, I can't. If they have a public presence, if they're essentially a public figure on Twitter, I can say, hey, your graphics sucked. The stuff you worked on was ass. That's fine, in my opinion.
I'm going to be clear about something. I'm not saying that you have to like the thing you bought. I'm not saying even that you aren't allowed to complain about the thing you bought. You can have whatever opinion.
It's making me so mad. I hate when people give me permission to think things. This is something people do, I guess, to calm down the peanut gallery when they say this. And it with mass numbers, it does work on a percentage of people with mass numbers, but for people like me, it infuriates me.
That you feel like towards a game, even if that opinion is stupid and wrong, you are entitled to that opinion. And to some degree, you're entitled to express that opinion to the corporation.
He's being real passive aggressive.
To the video game studio that created this game that you bought. You paid 70 of your own dollars for this game, and it
I can do it if I didn't buy it as well. It's pretty cool.
Disappointed you, and you're angry about that. That is fine. You are entitled to be angry about it, and you're entitled to express that anger in certain channels.
Yeah.
If you are mad at that Ubisoft game, be mad at Ubisoft. Express your anger to Ubisoft or to the studio.
The individual devs be talking shit, though. Often. Not too sure about in this case. Didn't actually follow all that much of Dragon Age, just some minor controversy. But Bioware devs, I don't trust them to not be talking shit on Twitter. Gonna be real.
That made the game. But you cross a line when you start being cruel about it. Okay. So why am I saying you don't get to be cruel?
Like to know, what is cruelty? Hit me with it.
Because you spent $70. Let's walk through it. 1, you shouldn't be cruel at all. What are you doing?
1, before defining cruelty, in the context of saying things on the internet, let's say you shouldn't do it.
It's a video game. You don't need to go out of your way to cause harm to other people
harm. Cause harm. Example,
because
please.
Of a video game that you don't like. Again, I'm not saying you're not allowed to be angry about it. I'm not saying you don't get to express your dissatisfaction with the content of the game that you're not enjoying. But when you climb into someone's personal social media...
When you climb into someone's personal social media, you know, the public front from which they publish media to the world. Shut up. I thought he was going to say, like, personal space and talk about someone being harangued in real life. When you climb into someone's personal social media, it's social media. It's as much out there in public as, like, the latest Avengers movie. I don't know about these movies. Avengers, whatever.
And start actively attacking that person.
Attacking. Climb up their asshole digitally and attack them. Shut up. I'm already annoyed. I was already annoyed. Now I'm double annoyed. Watch out. My vein is going to start throbbing.
You celebrate layoffs at a studio because the game that you don't like didn't do that well.
Oh, sorry. I thought this was getting in someone's personal stuff. Celebrating you can't say I'm glad they got screwed. They screwed me. I'm glad they got screwed back. I lost $70. You lost your job. Should have made a better game.
25 Romanian Lee Superberry.
Hello.
Hey Tim, I'm back from trying out Direct's products. What
the hell? That's TMI.
G.R.R. Martin lookalike. What is he yapping about?
Blood is yapping about people not liking Dragon Age or something.
Crossing a line into being cruel, and fundamentally,
they're great workers, right? They'll get a job somewhere else.
Should have more grace for other human beings. But if you're not buying that, let's go on to point 2.
Yeah, I reject that.
You don't know what caused the results that you don't like. Let's go.
I don't care. You don't know who's to blame. I don't care.
Through an example.
Damn. Them getting laid off, that's one thing. Being happy about it, no.
Let's say that you don't like the line delivery on a piece of dialogue.
Is he going to say, what you need to do is look up the voice actor and bother them? You idiots are harassing the art director.
At the fault of...
There's a whole separate audio director and voice actor.
the voice actor? It might be, but it could be a lot of other things too. It might be the fault of the person who was directing that voice actor. Maybe they were given very specific...
Bro's about to say, and these people have names and addresses. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. I love it. I love it. Let's go.
Instructions to deliver the line in this particular way.
Discord alert. True. Secret layer alert.
Maybe the writer who wrote that line wanted it delivered in this particular way, and the stage direction specified this particular line delivery. Maybe the recording equipment at the voice studio went down, and the only take they managed to get was this first one that was done just to set the tone, and they were just kind of out of time and stuck with it.
Damn. Doesn't really feel like something I'd expect from a $70 piece of software, personally.
So if you go and you start attacking the voice actor for a line delivery you don't like...
It's not my fault. Still, yeah, I get the idea. Look, there's the corporate entity. There are the people who work for it. They don't have control or whatever. But when the people who've worked on it have public presences, they are projecting themselves as a public figure. You can't ignore that. You can't ignore that. And that's just sort of glossed over.
Like, it might not...
Like, you're not going to tell people to not say they did a great job, right? You're not going to complain about them saying you did a great job and it not actually being down to them. Are you?
Be them at all. They
like other side of the coin.
Might be something else. Indeed, it might not be the line delivery at all. Maybe the problem was the writing. So should you go attack the writer? Well, no, because why was the line written in this way?
Oh my god. You just don't understand it. It had to be shit. But also, 14 minutes, 27 seconds. Want a faster take? Unless someone's like credibly threatening you, it's always an option to just not give a f***. They should just not give a f***. It's that easy.
Is it written this way because the writer had a specific thing they were trying to say? Maybe. Maybe it was written this way because there was incredibly tight time pressures due to other externalities on their time.
It gets worse. Is bro gonna say, maybe if you paid $100 per game, some of these pressures would be taken off?
Maybe the direction of the game changed radically 3 months ago, and they had to rewrite this entire character in just 3 months, and you're just getting the first draft of that writing. Maybe the lead writer wanted this character to be in a specific way, and it constrained what the writer was able to do while they were writing this character. Maybe the creative director on the project had specific goals that they had in mind, and they were pushing the writing in a particular way, or restricting how much leeway the writers had in order to express their vision on what the game was able to do or be. Maybe the executive producer, all of these people...
Maybe it was just a giant mess that you were asked to pay $70 for, and they all suck, but you should be upset that they were laid off.
Reporting up into the executive producer.
Maybe literally everyone is a fuck up. You shouldn't be happy they were laid off after taking $70 from you for garbage.
Decided that this game should be different in tone and was pushing the game direction in a different way. Or maybe the leadership of this project changed 6 times and the direction changed 6 times, and you're getting little bits of writing from each of these different directions, and there was never adequate time to step back and rewrite it. Maybe
his voice gives me a bit of the Maddox. Does anyone else hear that? That Kermit the Frog honk at the end of sentences.
The CEO of the entire company really wanted his nephew to be hired as a script consultant. And this guy with literally zero experience was coming in and pushing for mandatory changes to the project. How realistic are all the things I just said? Some of them are incredibly realistic. Some of them not so realistic. But I've seen things that look an awful lot like all of the things I just said.
Cool. I'm sure you see a lot of things, brother.
So when you decided to personally attack that one specific person on social media, how certain are you that it was their fault, that they are responsible for that thing that you don't like?
It's a tweet. It's a tweet, dog. It's a tweet.
And I'm going to tell you right now, you shouldn't be certain because you don't know exactly what was going on within the project.
Hey, might not be your fault that it's bad, but you certainly didn't make it good, all right?
You don't know the exact circumstances that resulted in that thing you didn't like. Even people who were on the project aren't always going to be absolutely certain on who is responsible for something being exactly a particular way. These projects have hundreds of people on them. Content moves around.
I can send hundreds of tweets, brother.
Around between multiple people. Unless I am the
you can't be sure, and there are hundreds of people. You're gonna have to write a lot of tweets
person who was
to make sure at least one of them finds the right person.
Actually responsible for something being a certain way. That chain of custody isn't always going to be super obvious to me.
And this is why video games notoriously have had terrible credits. People have not been, recognized properly for the specific work they put in. This is why we need better crediting in games so that people can harass on social media more precisely.
And all of this isn't to say that you aren't allowed to have your own opinions, to not like the things you don't like. It's specifically to point out that you being angry at a specific person, you attacking a specific person, is often misdirected. If you feel like you're just not getting the...
His point is obviously not to do it, but he just keeps talking in a way that is like, you need to step it up. You need to strike at the heart rather than not do it.
Satisfaction from yelling at the corporate Twitter channel or yelling at the studio directly. If you feel like you need to focus it down onto an actual human being, I mean, that's really sad. I'm sorry. That's very sad. And hopefully you can grow beyond that. But
that's sad, and hopefully you can grow. If you spend 3 seconds to write a tweet, that's subhuman behavior.
Will give you a couple of outlets. If you need to complain at a human being, I'm going to say you don't get to go lower than the first person in the credits.
What is this?
You can go higher than that, but no lower than that. The first person in the credits is the person who...
Oh no. Hang on.
Metal Murderer fed the streamer a $5 super bear. Glad the gray beard with the lazy eye is here to explain how I'm allowed to feel about my $70 jerk.
True. They're gonna start being like, this credit start. Special thanks to the office dog, Jimbo the Pomeranian.
Was, theoretically at least, in charge of the project. They are the person where at least some of the responsibility is going to lie. Now, did they have full control over what was going on in the project? No, because you could still have the CEO of the company forcing them to use his stupid nephew as a script consultant. But at the very least, they were in charge of the project for a somewhat significant...
I love still that this actually is just like harassment recommendations. He's like, don't do it, but if you are going to do it, go for this guy. These guys maybe didn't have too much to do it, but peak harassment, first credit and above.
Percentage of the time. So if you are mad about Anthem and we look at the credits, oh shit, that's me. But yeah, if you feel like you need to yell at somebody...
Is what's really happening here him being really sad Anthem flopped and no one ever cared about it and still don't care about it? Guys, don't harass. But if you really need to, just make my social media active, please. Please. I need engagement, please. I was executive producer of this piece of shit. Please.
For the way that Anthem is, it's much better to be yelling at someone like me who was theoretically in charge of the project, or at least in charge of the...
This guy's into it.
...project for some of the development time, than yelling at someone who was working on the combat or the level design or whatever. Because again, you don't know exactly what their reality was. When I was an executive producer, I got paid pretty well. And to some degree...
He could win me over partly if he talked about Anthem and he was like, you gotta understand, they don't deserve it. They had to have their name put in the credits of Anthem. I'd empathize.
Agree. From my perspective, some of that compensation was to act as a lightning rod for this negative discourse. It's one of the reasons why I think it is an executive producer's responsibility to have a social media presence. Because some of you, if you're still watching, will play a game and be...
He's creepy. He's like taking it, but he's taking it in a weird way. He's going, look at my dislike ratio. I wonder if he updates. This is edited. Is he regularly updating the percentage? He is just saying, please watch it. He's not necessarily... Well, we know he's upset, but he's not saying, like, this is horrible, stop. He's just saying, please watch the video.
Angry about it and need to yell at a human being. And I think one of the executive producer's responsibilities is to protect his team. And part of protecting his team is providing that lightning rod. If you don't provide that lightning rod, then people who need to vent are going to find places to vent. We live in a social media world.
I thought he was going to say we live in a society, man. It was so close.
Many people have some form of social media presence.
Yeah. I think people are too comfortable with social media. I think people feel like their Twitter account is them at the virtual park. No, it's like having an outlet.
You, as the most senior person on the project, don't...
It's your little blog. It's publishing stuff. It's not you in the cyber park standing around and then someone saying something mean on Twitter is them punching you in the cyber park. No.
Don't have a social media presence, then people are going to go and find someone else. Someone who isn't paid as well as you. Someone who doesn't necessarily have the tools to protect themselves from the toxicity that is leveled at them. I would say again that...
Oh, what's the point of this video? Customers are not allowed to criticize the service. He's saying he doesn't want you bitching at particular individuals who worked on the game and have a social media presence.
You should...
Welcome to projecting yourself deliberately to try and be a public figure, is what I would say.
Be targeting people directly, even the executive producer. But you know what?
A tweet at someone is really sort of like a comment on their profile. You've created a micro brand for yourself. I think we shouldn't view it this way, fundamentally. And if you don't view it this way fundamentally, it won't hurt you as well. You'll become immune to it.
If you feel the need, the higher up in the organization you go, the more I'm going to say, have at her. As you get beyond...
Bro is going to, like, a picture of Luigi Mangione is going to pop up on the screen. Why is he talking like this? This is weird.
Executive producer, and you get up into studio...
Am I being incited? Is this stochastic terrorism?
Leadership and group leadership and the C-suite and the person in charge of the entire corporation. They share responsibility in the game you don't like being the way that it is. So if you feel the need to yell at them, again, probably don't, but they're big boys and girls.
True.
So
fair enough.
They should be able to handle it. The reality is...
Oh, wait, hang on. Whoa. Are the big boys and girls only the first credit and above?
Most of those people do not have a social media presence. Do not have a way that you can yell at them directly. So a lot of times...
Yeah, hang on. Yeah, of course. He's only talking about credit 1 and above. As far as I'm aware, I think a lot of things about Bioware and their output. I don't think they hire child labor. I think everyone's a big boy and girl.
What I'm telling you is the least senior person you're allowed to yell at is the executive producer. And a lot of times the most senior person you're going to be able to yell at is the executive producer. So once again, the executive producer serves as a light.
I'm sure a lot of executive producers are really happy that he's made this video to just like talk shit at them. I'm sure they love this industry standard he's trying to set.
Lightning rod for all this vitriol. If you feel like you're not being listened to when you complain on Metacritic or you complain on the forums of a studio or you complain into...
Ding dong, Banu. That was Bioware, right? That whole Ding Dong Banu thing. Anyone remember that? The guy with the Volus avatar.
The social media channels of the publisher or the studio. Be aware that this stuff is carefully scrutinized, not just by the social media teams, also by the teams themselves. Arguably, in a lot of cases, to too great of a degree. The team is listening, I would say, often too much to what you are yelling
We can actually hear you through the Xbox headset.
about and complaining about in these channels. But
Star Wars: The Old Republic. Oh, man. Do you remember that bug when SWTOR came out where they had to put up barriers in the game around the areas where you were allowed to use the dance emote? Because there was a bug that meant if you started fighting a mob and danced, you became invulnerable. But it didn't take you out of combat.
don't worry, you don't need to go onto their Twitter channel
And it was a bannable offense to dance outside of the marked dancing zones.
and yell at them directly, because they're going to hear it anyway. Be a human being, have some empathy,
I refuse.
and stop
I am more than human.
being cruel. Stop throwing a party because a bunch of people lost their jobs.
Here's the thing. We're talking about in terms of like what some might call harassment. I don't think this guy called it harassment at any point, to be fair. But now we're talking about don't tweet on your own shit saying I'm glad these guys got laid off. No. I was going to say I'm not going to do it. I might if the mood strikes me and I think it's funny. But like of course they can do that.
Because
Deal with it.
you don't know the circumstances that resulted in the thing that you're mad at. People deserve some grace. People deserve some empathy from you. And if you can't provide that, then stay off the internet completely.
No you! No you. No you is my response to that. You stay off. Those people stay off.
Moo hacking human being arenas deserve empathy.
Empathy. True. Thank you for the membership. When you're posting, you are effectively a brand. I don't think interaction with what is effectively a brand, a media projection of the self, if you wanna go that far into making it personal, I don't think commentary on that should be restricted. I think it's very important that it isn't. And of course this guy isn't saying it shouldn't be allowed, but I'm against it even being socially discouraged.
One last time for the cheap seats, you are entitled to your opinion. You are entitled to be angry about a game
In my opinion, it's funny that bad game creators got laid off.
that you bought. You paid good money for it. But try to remember that it's just a game. Even more importantly,
Just a game. Just a game. Just a game. The people you're talking about here, what you're really saying is, and if he said this, it wouldn't hit right, would it? If he said, try and remember, it's just $70. Because even in his setup, it's your $70 doesn't buy you cruelty. What are people mad about? They spent money on a piece of shit. It's not, it's just a game. It's just $70. It's just $70.
when you are expressing your complaints, stay away from cruelty. Stay away from targeting
Like, he needs to say it's just $70 or he's a pussy.
individual people.
He knows how bad that would sound.
Stay away from trying to cause harm. Stay away from celebrating harm done to actual human beings. Express your opinion to the company that made your game.
Is being $70 out, being $70 out on a piece of shit, not harm? And I'd agree. A tweet just expressing that you're glad they got laid off after taking your fucking $70. After the company, not even them, okay, fair. They're saying, I'm glad you got laid off because your corpo overlords pumped out this piece of shit and took my $70. That is harm?
Tell them what you like. Tell them what you don't like. Be specific. It will help you get games that are more like what you want.
I liked that you got laid off, and I think more game devs should be laid off. Is that okay?
But when you are personally attacking individual devs,
If it's not their fault and they're talented, here's something. I would prefer they work in a small team on an indie project than work for this giant bloated corporate behemoth that is going to mismanage them and pop out some paused shit. I want them to get laid off and then the talented ones to find a small team of equally talented people and produce something at a much smaller scale that is just pure gold.
you are crossing a line. And you're probably attacking the wrong person anyway. A special thanks to my members. They provide the resources that this channel needs to keep running. If you're interested in becoming a member, there is a link to that down in the description. We also have a Patreon.
My brain is cooked today. When he said if you're interested in becoming a member, I imagined like a guide to metamorphosing into a penis.
If you are more comfortable supporting the channel in that way, both Patreons and members get access to our community. So if you are interested in interacting with the community as a whole, that's an excellent way to do so. I'm not sure that I'm going to ask you to provide a comment on this video. We'll see what happens with these comments. If they go really toxic, then...
Oh, so it is about controlling perception. Thanks for making that 100% clear.
Maybe I end up turning the comments off completely on this video. Probably not, because as I said, I have lots of experience interacting with toxic people, and I do recognize that some people do not have the level of maturity required to keep their toxic comments to themselves. So probably the comments stay open on this channel. If you have some positive things to say...
That's so close to being tight. 88, 89. He needs 8888. He needs quads.
I'd love to hear it. I will see you again soon. Thank you.
This outro screen of music is not hitting at all. Okay. 70 doesn't buy you cruelty, doesn't buy me a good game either, apparently. Is he going to say it's a good one? Cool, vote with your wallet. But why are you crawling into someone's personal social media feed to attack them? You have released a publication. You've put out a video and provided a place for commentary. This is a comment under media. My personal social media feed. It's called social media! Making a bad product is one thing. That simply makes the product not sell. There's been plenty of bad games that fall into obscurity without a sliver of controversy. To actually attack your consumer because you blah 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 blah. What's he gonna say? I can't defend someone who is getting attacked back for their own comments, but this is far from the universal situation. When people really pop off, a lot of the time, it's because they've said some dumb shit. They've published comment to the world, and the world has spoken back. And of course, filtering for people to whom that comment is relevant to. So, you know. What's he gonna say? He's just repeating shit from his video. It's crazy you expect gamers, the customer, to have a higher morality than the game developers and companies who lack morality. No wonder people will celebrate the downfall of game studios. I can hope one day. You need to get used to the idea that you're responsible for your own words. He didn't flat out. I think this doesn't land against him quite, but what will he say? Indeed. Okay. He's not saying not be angry. He literally says, these aren't hitting. Look, our boy Mark, I don't like what he had to say, but they're not really responding to what he had to say. It was wrong in its own specific way, but he's not saying don't. He literally multiple times says it's okay to be angry, which is another reason don't bother saying that, because people won't listen anyway, mostly. It's okay I didn't spend $70, my cruelty is free. Watch the video, dislike something. Express that dislike to the studio. Wait, what is going on here? But why are you crawling into someone's personal social media feed? If you need a human, look at the first few names in the credits. He's morbing. His brain is morphing. It's like he's simultaneously talking about games and his video. Alright. Shouldn't have insulted and lectured your customers for over a decade. This is a big brain comment about the state of the world and industry. This is a big brain man. Did I see the GDC scream? Is Games Done Quick happening now? I thought I was looking at something horrific. Let me... Bro, I thought my recommended had some real deranged shit in it, but it's perfectly fine. However, I ask you to understand why I was concerned for a second. Momentarily, I was horrified. But then it's just some guy doing climbing. Like from the corner of my eye, I was like, what the fuck is that? Oh. Alright, man, it's crazy how nowadays game devs give us YouTube content instead of good games. Crazy. Bro, it's fine. This is good. Mark, he scores. He scores. Quote, so I'm non-binary, and he responds, congratulations. That's good. He did it. He did it. That is good. That is good. He needed to look. I'm on Twitch, so I can't say it, but he needed to say, if he said congratulations and then dropped the F slur, he would be a hero right now. Okay. Imagine being a grown man and referring to words being uttered as causing harm. Is the word too short for you? I don't know what dog means. Is he saying I was using it shorthand for something else? You know, it's not what I meant. Neutral Igenlink. Oh, this is the old. This is the. Isn't this like the Trump scream?
These are a bunch of game developers at this year's GDC, aka the Game
This isn't
Developers
new, is it?
Conference. And they're all here.
No, we were looking at a Bioware.
Have a moment of feeling good, a moment of camaraderie.
Is a moment of come? Is that a Simon Says hat? Is just a game? Well, it's just your job. Yes, those are the same thing. Yo, he responded. Yeah, it's a fantasy Lawbreakers. I'm gonna say it again. Lawbreakers could have been good. It would not have taken... True, Serious Sam is fantasy, if you think about it. But you would not have had to change too much for Lawbreakers to have been good. But they made so many unbelievable mistakes. The number one I have to harp on anytime it's mentioned is they launched a game that's meant to be the rebirth of arena shooters without deathmatch, without team deathmatch. Me, slit its throat at birth. Like, don't talk about Brink. Don't mention Brink to me. I bought 3 copies of that shit. I bought 3 copies of that shit to get the 3 unique cosmetics. I was a up gamerhead, man. I was gamer pilled. This was before I got involved in social media. I was an unawakened gamer. I bought 4 copies of Fortnite. It's true. I purchased 4 copies of Fortnite. How about this? Shut up and make good games. Oh my, he's copy pasting. All right. This is the worst comment of all time. It looks like an attempt to present the perpetrator in the accident as a victim. What did he say in response? Nope. Never seen such a crybaby before. That's a take. He was not a crybaby. This was not a crybaby take. No. That's not fair. Weak men create hard times with the Yoshi's Island profile pic. All cruelty springs from weakness. Deep. You know what? That is a pretty good version of Know You. You know what? That's a good one. He hits sometimes. Gungrave with the f***ing Skyrim profile pic. Being polite and courteous towards your kind got us ignored and mistreated and demonized. Getting loud and in your face got us result. So I'm sticking to doing the later. He didn't respond to that? That's so good, though. That's amazing. Cinnamon rolls with raisins? What? 10 minutes ago! Why is... Oh, man. I genuinely thought, even as an old man, he would go like, you know, you got me, or how dare you, or something. Not, hey, Sonny, what? Don't care, make better games. Watch the video. Read the comment. And yet? That's a good one. I like the and yet. I say and yet a lot on social media. Easiest dislike of my life, get wrecked. Welcome! What do we have? It's gambling, man. I can't stop myself. It's gambling. Speaking of gambling, oh man. We're buying tickets to Japan. And as you know, I'm sure, flight tickets go all over the place. I think we're buying tickets after my stream. Currently, we've got them at about $2,000 each. I'm not looking forward to that coming out of my account, but the other ones we were looking at were like 3,300. Yesterday, the tickets we were looking at were 3,300, man. It's horrifying. It's paying for a flight is like investing in crypto. It's nuts. Can you sell it if you pay for a flight and then it goes up? Can I sell? Ooh. He's disconnected from reality. Is be a human being too hard? Try Skyscanner. All right, Chris Broadshill. I know where you got that suggestion from. By the way, fair warning, I might have more than one holiday this year. Go to Ukraine. We might go to Poland. Lucky B was suggesting it, but I was like, is that a good idea right now? Is that a good idea? I don't know. Oh, make woke game developers unemployed again. Go over to Poland, get some, I will not be going to Auschwitz. I think I'm banned from there. Gonna have pierogies, I like Polish food. Because it's all farm worker food, right? All the Polish stuff is hearty as because it's for manual laborers. That's the lore. That's what the Polish people say, at least. Cool vote with your wallet. But why are you crawling into someone's personal social... He's got that on his clipboard. Ooh! Lamau, so the guy who made this video is copy-pasting the same reply to most comments. And has admitted he doesn't call out his colleagues. Devs stay mad, keep getting fired. There are several different copy and pastes, and you get a special response all to yourself. Mark, you have like a text doc open with a selection of responses? Oh man, brother. I think they're unaware that they've done this, but we didn't want a bad Dragon Age game. Bad Dragon Age game, man! You wanted it.